On this episode of China Uncensored, there will be blood. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. So, how about we do something different today? How about, this time, we censor China? I mean, would that really be so bad just this once? Here, look, yes, that's not so bad, right? Do we really need to stare into the harsh light of reality that only illuminates the darkness of the human soul? Oh, yes, that's right. This is the internet. So, the problem is, when you oppress people for so long, eventually they kill you. Case in point, China's Qianguan, or urban management. Don't let the uniforms fool you. They aren't police. They are supposed to regulate and take care of street vendors, but somehow they got the idea that their job was to take care of street vendors. Little backstory before we get into that harsh light that exposes the darkness of the human soul thing. So this is how some Qianguan dealt with a biker they had a disagreement with. Those were the kinder, gentler Qianguan. Not all are as compassionate as those. At the beginning of April, according to state-run Beijing News, 2 Qianguan beat and strangled a 70-year-old man to death. He criticized them. What do you expect? Last July, a watermelon vendor had his skull crushed in by his own heavy metal counterweight when he got in the way of a Qianguan throwing it at his skull. He didn't want to move. They told him to move. The heaviest sentence against the 4 involved was 11 years in prison for intentional assault. The only thing that was murdered that day was justice. Oh yeah, and that guy who got murdered. Which is funny because last September, a man was executed for stabbing to death 2 Qianguan in 2009 because they were beating him and he was, for some reason, afraid for his life. Maybe now you have some idea why people would be a little frustrated with these Qianguan. Which brings us to what happened on April 19th in Changnan County, Wenzhou City, Zhejiang Province. There are 5 Qianguan in that car. Yes, that one, the one surrounded by 1,000 very angry people. Apparently, while in the middle of, you guessed it, a dispute with a street vendor early in the morning, a passerby began criticizing and photographing those Qianguan. You can imagine what happened. It allegedly involved this hammer and that guy's face. And blood vomiting. Did I mention blood vomiting? Now, from what I can tell, he did survive. But the rumor that spread very quickly was that a group of Qianguan had murdered someone. Can you imagine people believing such a wild rumor? Well, when a mob of 1,000 turned up shouting, "Kill them!" the 5 Qianguan felt it was maybe time for them to get in their van and leave, but, well. And when the ambulance showed up, they flipped that as well. Sources vary on the fate that befell those Qianguan. Some say all were beaten to death. The local government's news outlet said 2 were in critical condition, while the other 3 only suffered minor wounds, but if you look at, again, the incredibly graphic photos, it didn't look like minor wounds. In the end, more than 100 riot police had to be sent in and 10 have been arrested. Now, if you are some kind of sick freak who just has to see those graphic images, well, far be it from me to deny you your pound of flesh. I have posted all those images uncensored in a photo album on the China Uncensored Facebook page. Go, look to your heart's content. I'm not here to judge you.